Wow, okay, I guess that's me. I am thrilled and honored to be here with you. I'm really excited. I know some of you are doing translations, so I'll try not to talk as fast as I typically do when I'm in my New York mode. The first thing that I want to tell you is kind of a personal thing, and that is with all those credentials, the thing that I'm the most proud of is that at the top of my game, I walked away from my successful company. I pulled the plug and I moved to Italy. So I walked away at the top of my career for two reasons. One was it had been a dream of mine to live in Europe. And secondly, I have a belief that just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean it's the only thing that you're here to do. And I was curious that if I actually opened up the space, what else might come through. And the thing that's really, well, I guess I should tell you the other thing that I did was I changed my name. So you're hearing Maya, Marcia. I think it's incredible that my first keynote back as Maya is in the land of Maya here in Guatemala. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the name change because it relates to visionary thinking, which is about recreating yourself. You can create a new persona for yourself at any time. So I know in this audience, I can see most of you, we're at different phases of life. Some of us are very clear. You came to the Volcano Summit because you have a project, a dream, a company, something that you're very specific and clear about. But some of us are here because we're in need of a new dream, a new vision. Some of us are in the early part of our career. Some of us are in the second half of our career. And for all of us, the opportunity to dream, and by the way, I use the word dream and vision interchangeably. And I'll tell you more about how I'm using those in just a minute. So I just want to say, today is 9/11. And we don't need to dwell on it, but I think to take a moment to acknowledge it was 21 years ago that at least in the United States, the landscape really changed. And for the rest of us worldwide, the last 2 years, mamma mia, as we would say when I was living in Italy, mamma mia. It was a time of uncertainty and unknown. And if we didn't learn that, well, I think we learned it because I don't want another opportunity to learn it at that level. And the opportunity, well, what happened is there was loss, right? We lost. Some of us lost our dreams. Some of us lost opportunities. Some of us lost loved ones, maybe a family member or a pet. But it was a time of loss, and now we're on the other side of it. It's a time of renewal. It's a time of celebration. It's a time of creation. Now, I have to tell you just to drop a little personal thing, and then I'll get into the meat here. But on the way to Guatemala, try to do this. I'm going to try to just hold it together. On the way to Guatemala, to here, I stopped in Miami. And one of the things that I did in Florida was I sat on my parents' graves. Because 2 years ago, the day before COVID kind of went big, my mom passed away in Florida. And it was extraordinary because I got to be there with her and held her hand. And then I had to get back before all of the world locked down. And a year later, my father passed. And burying my father next to my mother was the most profound and the most difficult thing I have ever done in my life, and I hope it remains the most difficult thing, because it was monumental. It wasn't easy to get home during COVID. I had been talking with my dad every day on FaceTime, and we decided that I wasn't going to go. But as soon as his health took a big decline, I got on an airplane. Now, the world was closed down except for Florida, where it was spring break. It wasn't easy to get a flight. But I did. I got home. I had 36 hours with my father before he passed. And I got to say something to my father that I think was one of the most meaningful things I ever said to him. I said, Dad, I knew I would get home because people, hundreds of people all over the world were praying for me to have this time to say goodbye to you. And I said, and I want you to know that the gift that I'm receiving in your passing was I know how loved I am. Like, I always knew that people liked me and respected me, but I felt so much love. And I looked at him and I took his hands and I said, Daddy? Yeah, I know. Daddy? That's because of you. You taught me how to be friendly and warm. You taught me how to say hello to strangers. You taught me how to dream big. So I want you to know I am so incredibly grateful, and I'm going to miss you so much. He was crying. I was crying. And I looked at him and I said, are you ready? And he nodded. And I went into my parents' bedroom and called out to my mother, Mom, he's ready and he's not going to anybody else but you. And the room got very cold, and within an hour, my father had passed. It was really extraordinary. The last thing that happened with me and my dad that's related to this name is when I was sitting with him in Florida, he pointed to a box, and I got it down. He opened the box. My father's name was Murray. He showed me his birth certificate, had the name Max on it, and his high school diploma had the name Morris on it. I said, who the hell are you? Are you Max, Morris, Murray? And he said, yeah, I think you should change your name as it suits you. I said, well, you might as well hear it from me. I'm changing my name to Maya. And he's like, I like that name for you. I think it suits you. And the reason this is related to what I'm talking about now is because I have been teaching people how to make their dreams come true for 30 years. I know I don't look that old, but for 30 years. And what I want to do in this presentation is kind of 3 sections. One is I want to give you the cliff notes of my 30 years of how to make a dream come true, how to manifest a vision, 21st century visionary thinking. And then I want to give you an encapsulated version of what I've learned since I've become Maya, because it's different and it's deepened. And then the third thing that I want to do is I want to take you through a very unusual process for opening up to who you are as a creator. And my promise is, for those of you that want to, you will leave this session in action on a dream that you're passionate about, even if you don't know what that is. So let's jump in. Let's see. I have one little prop I just need to grab. Okay. Cliff Notes version. So in school, at least in America, United States, we say we're going to learn the ABCs. At Dream University, we teach you the CBAs. Get clear about your dream, the hardest step for most people. Believe in your dream, which is a choice. And A, take action. Get clear, believe, and take action. So let me drill down a little bit more. And I've broken this into 4 sections. So the first section has to do with intention and integrity. So everybody talks about setting an intention. You have to be intentional. So intention is like the rudder that steers the course of your life or of your business or of your vision. But without the second principle, intention is worthless. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So we need the second part, and the second part is integrity, which is about keeping your agreements with yourself and others. So I often say we have an intention, and then we have integrity. Well, what many of us do is we say we want one thing and we do another. Or we say we want something and we do nothing. So the game here is to get aligned, to be congruent. Intention and integrity together form the core building block for manifestation. The second rung I want to get down to is purpose and dreams. So standing in your purpose, the quality of your dreams and the quality of your life will actually change. To live on purpose requires 3 things. 1, a spiritual practice so you can hear the wisdom beneath your ego. 2, to know what's unique and special about you, formed by every success that you would celebrate, and even every loss that you might grieve or mourn. Everything that you have lived through makes you uniquely you. At one level, at a personal level, there's no such thing as competition. Nobody has lived your life. Nobody has your stories, your insight, your knowledge, your understanding. And then the third piece is to be of service with it. So in order to live on purpose, you have a spiritual practice to go a little deeper. Second, know what's unique and special about you. And third is to be of service with it. And what I have found is people often climb to the top of the mountain to discover it's the wrong mountain. When you know your purpose, that's not going to happen. And also, in a business context, I have a YPO friend who I've spoken for his company many times, and he called me a few years ago, and he said, I want you to come work with my executive team. 8 men and me in Napa Valley with delicious food and great wine. And what we did was we spent the day looking at what each individual person's purpose was. And then the team made a commitment to support each other in living more on purpose. Well, he called me a few months later and he said that day was a game changer for his organization because they went from being a single-digit billion-dollar equity fund to $17 billion in annual revenue. And he attributes it to that day because what happened was we created a culture of trust. We up-leveled the entire game. So yeah, we want to know our personal purpose, but also at an organizational level, it changes everything. It's not just about the bottom line, it's about the heart and soul of the people. And by the way, the last book that I wrote is called Dream. And it took me 15 years to write the first line of this book, which is, dream is a verb. It's also a noun, right? I'm going to accomplish a dream. But when we get that dreaming is an action-oriented process, it changes everything. In one chapter in this book, I talk about 5 different ways to discover your purpose. And since I don't have time to do it here, what I will do, don't let me forget by the end of my talk, is I'll tell you how you can get a free copy of the book. Okay? Good? We love presents. We love presents. Okay. So intention and integrity, standing in your purpose, the quality of your dreams will change, as will the quality of your life. Where dreams come from is you make them up. Some of them are based on need, putting food on the table. Some of them are based on desire, maybe your dream to write a best-selling book. But the dreams that come from your purpose are usually the most profound. The difference between a dream and a fantasy, like winning the lottery, is that in a dream you can design a strategy for getting there. In winning the lottery, there's nothing that you can do, maybe hope a lot and buy a lot of tickets, but it's a crapshoot, right? So what I want to encourage you to do is to get clear about what it is that you want, remove the obstacles, which I'll talk about next, and then demonstrate that you're more committed to your dream than to any doubt, fear, or reality that might get in your way. It's an interesting thing with dreams. If you never go to strategy, the dream remains a fantasy. But if you go to strategy too soon, what most of us do is we compromise the dream down to what we realistically think is possible. So that moves me into kind of the third section, which is on doubts and beliefs. So we have lots of different parts inside of us. We have a dreamer, we have a visionary, we have a doubter, we have a realist. And they're all useful at different times. When you're in strategy, being realistic is an important part. But when you're dreaming, well, we want to take the lid off. The way to dream bigger is if time and money were not issues, if you had the support of the people around you, if you knew you could not fail, what would you do? Where would you go? What would you create? What would you change? And this whole idea of doubt. So if you imagine, there's a principle in nature called structural tension. Tension will resolve itself in whichever direction there's a greater pull. So if you imagine the top of the rubber band is your dream and the bottom is your reality, whichever one you're more committed to is the direction your life will move. So let's say my dream is, woo! You okay? Let's say my dream is to write a book. Raise your hand if your dream is to write a book. Raise your hands. Okay, this is the dream more than any other dream that people talk about that they don't act on. And what I want to encourage you is don't become a statistic. If this is something that really matters to you, let's get you going on it. You could make a commitment. You're going to leave here today in action on the dream of writing your book. So what happens is, right, so up here is the dream, down here is reality. Whichever one you're more committed to is the direction your life will move. So what happens is I get a dream. My dream is to write a book. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Never mind. And it happens really fast. You get an idea? Never mind. Big dreamers, Volcano Summit participants do not compromise their dream down. I mean, look at this event. There's no compromising down here. So you have your dream. You let reality do what it does. It's called good days and bad days. But you demonstrate you're more committed to your dream than to any doubt, fear, or reality through the action that you're taking or not taking. We sabotage our dreams often with 3 little words. But what if? But what if I take out a loan and I can't pay it back? But what if I take on a partner and we don't get along? But what if I open a location and it fails? When we project our worst nightmares into the dream, it is a sure sabotage pattern. Sure, we have obstacles, right? So that's the beliefs department. Obstacles come in 2 flavors. Either an internal job, something you believe about yourself, your dream, or life, or an external job, something that requires a strategy or a plan. Every obstacle that you can think of is either a limiting belief or something that requires a plan. And what happens is, let's say that I'm living in California and I'm living in Washington, D.C. This was my reality. And I want to move to California. I'm very clear where I am and where I want to go. The difference between the two is a strategy. So I get in my car and I start driving and I get a flat tire. Well, if I'm more committed to my dream than to my reality, I fix the flat and I keep going. But if I'm more committed to my reality, driving along, get a flat tire, it must be a sign from God. If you're more committed to your reality than to your dream, everything becomes a sign. And what will have you be more committed to your reality than to your dream? One is if you don't have a dream, all you have is reality. Reality is usually problem solving. And although problem solving is useful and necessary, it doesn't get us from reality to the dream. So often we'll say if we don't have a dream, all we have is reality. But also if we've loaded our worst nightmares into the dream, every time we move towards the dream, we're also moving towards the fear. And we won't do that. And then the last piece of this, Cliff Notes, is projects and practices. Big dreams or long-term dreams can't just be plopped on a to-do list. They need to be broken down into short-term projects, right? So if you want to write a book, a project could be within 30 days, I'm going to outline the book. Or, within 30 days, I'm going to hire a coach to help me write the book. So I recommend projects that can easily be accomplished in 30 days or less because it's a short enough period of time to stay passionate and in action, but a long enough time to see a real result. And practices are really important. So if I want to become strong and muscular, I go to the gym 3 times a week. If I want to become more peaceful and meditative, I meditate 20 minutes a day. If one of the key elements in making a dream come true has to do with inspiring other people to help you, but you're shy or uncomfortable in talking to strangers, a practice that you would want to develop is the ability to start conversations with people that you don't know. So it's kind of a building block, but these are, I'm breaking the whole thing down, but ultimately it comes down to get clear about your dream, believe in your dream, and take action on your dream. Okay, so the distinction between what I was teaching and what I'm now learning is for 30 years, I taught people how to make their dreams come true. And now what I'm teaching is how to be a creator. And Maya paints. I mean, this is something I never did in my life. I was a writer. And I was painting and I was thinking, what can I do to contribute to help people during COVID? And I got this one insight, teach them to be creators. And I put it on a Post-it note and I put it up on the wall. And by the end of the week, there were 90 Post-it notes. I organized them into 10 different 10 different videos and created a program called Dream Mastery, which is designed to help people know ourselves as creators, which is very different than how to make something happen. So one of the principles in this program that I love is called everyday enlightenment. The idea that when we're telling a story, can we interrupt the pattern? When we're having an upset or a challenge, we had some challenges with the setup this morning. The wedding went too late, But Jonna said to me, she goes, I was only upset for a few minutes. That models everyday enlightenment. Why would you want to worry about something or suffer for years, even months, even days, even hours? Can we interrupt the pattern and know ourselves as creators? Because as a creator, you are creating your reality. So let me just get one thing. Okay. One of the key skills to learn and practice in being a creator is discernment. Your ability to say no more or no thank you to what's no longer true for you. This is a game changer. So for many years, I had a successful company, but then I started thinking, I'm trying to be all things to all people, and this is my life. I want to create my life on my terms. So the ability to say no more to what's no longer true allows you to say now what to what is it that you really want. And that also opens the door to integrity on another level, which I call soul integrity. Knowing who you are and what is yours to do changes everything. And I have this great story to tell you about a company called 4Ocean. These two guys from Florida, Alex and Adam, they're surfers, and they were surfing in Bali, and they noticed that the fishermen had to work really hard to get past all the plastic garbage in the water. And they came up with a really simple idea that was a game changer. They created small bracelets, like the Guatemala bracelets that we're seeing, small bracelets made from recycled trash that was pulled from the ocean. And they sell these bracelets for $10 to $20. And for every bracelet that is sold, they extract a pound of plastic from oceans around the world. Now, on one hand, you can say, well, it's kind of a simple idea. Except in the last few years, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly how long, but they have extracted 25 million pounds of plastic from the ocean. And it's all been self-sustaining. So they pull out the trash, they recycle, they sell the bracelets, and the bracelets help remove more trash. For me, this is a great example of discernment, soul integrity. Because soul integrity is what is yours to do. Is there something that nobody else can do? Or is there a unique way for you to do it? This is 21st century visionary thinking. What is mine to do? And what do I need to stop doing in order to be available? Sometimes to even get the download and the idea of what it is that you really want to create. So one of the things that happened to me out of discernment was I kept saying, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. And then through meditation, I was given an idea for something called the Meaning Institute. And it's a modern day mystery school, studying the mysteries of life, the things that can't be seen and touched, like compassion, love, power. Anyway, I dreamt up this idea. My guidance in my meditation said to do it for 3 years. The first year, it was pretty good. 100 people came. We met every 90 days live. So we had 100 people, and then we would meet for these different heart, throat, and third eye initiations, opening, which I'm going to take you guys through this process in just a second. It was the single most important tool that we developed, and I guess I developed, and then taught to these students. So the first year was pretty good. The second year, it was quite good. The third year, it was the most profound thing I had done ever in my life, and then it was done, which was a big surprise to me. And that's when I moved to Italy, and now I live in Lisbon, Portugal, kind of opening to what's next? What does life want from me next? Such a beautiful question. The other thing that's really critical as a skill for being a creator has to do with engagement. Your ability to inspire other people to join you is the practice or strategy that will eradicate the obstacle called, I don't have enough money to make my dream come true. I don't have enough money to launch my startup. Now, of course, you have angel investors and you have people supporting you at every imaginable level, but your ability to inspire people comes down to you sharing your dream, project, opportunity like a visionary. A visionary has a big dream, articulates it with clarity so people get it, expresses it with passion so people get excited about it, and a visionary invites other people to join them. In my work, what I see is people are usually pretty good at the inspiring part, but not so good at the inviting part. And it's critical when you're wanting to build a team and an organization and get people behind you so you're not doing it all yourself. So I'm going to grab one more thing. A sip of water. One of the decisions I made when I decided to recreate myself was I wanted to be a philanthropist. And normally we would think, I don't have enough money to be a philanthropist. But what if instead you think about how can I give generously of my time, energy, my experience, my knowledge, and my resources? And this is, I think, one of the biggest things that is being asked of us to come forward, to be generous with our resources. With, and if you have knowledge, and you can share that, you're a philanthropist. I've helped build 14 schools in Kenya, and currently, to honor my parents, I'm building a library and a community center. And then once a year, I go to Kenya and I volunteer my time to teach, and it's extraordinary to watch the difference that it can make. I also had, when I first moved to Portugal, I was mentoring some people at the business school, and this young man came to me, and he had this great idea, but the business was not taking off. And I said, well, what do you need? And I think rather than tell you all the details, the outcome was I invested in his business. The business did not work out. He demanded giving me back the money, even though I said it was a gift, it wasn't an investment. And he looked at me and he said to me, your believing in me was way more valuable than the money. So if you can go back to family, friends, to children, to your colleagues and partners, look them in the eye and say, I believe in you, well, that's a game changer for many people. So yes, it's nice when we have additional resources as well, but just believing in someone, I promise you, that can change everything. And the last thing that I want to mention is something that may sound a little different than the other things I've talked about, but it has to do with ritual. Ritual is when we take something ordinary and we make it extraordinary. So for example, for our birthdays, we ritualize birthdays by singing, cake, candles. We ritualize love sometimes through a marriage ceremony. We ritualize graduating from college with a graduation ceremony. Ritual is when we take something simple and we put our intention on it because we want to take it up a notch to the next level. So what I want to do with you now is I want to actually move into a ritual with you. And the intention of this ritual is for you to expand your capacity as a creator, and also for you to leave here in action on a dream or a vision that you're passionate about. Now, in order to expedite this, please take a minute right now and think of something that maybe brought you to Volcano Summit or something that you're wanting to leave here with. Think of a dream, a goal, a project. You might have something very specific, or you might be in need of a new dream, which is something that you can work on with this as well. So having that ahead of time is going to make this process a lot easier. And I need to ask one quick question. Raise your hand if you meditate. If you meditate in any way, shape, or form. Wow, good for you guys. That made me happy. Okay. And raise your hand if you do any kind of yoga, any kind of martial arts, anything like that. Okay, good. Okay, I think we can go with that. So just a little setup for what I'm going to do. I'm going to lead you through a guided meditation. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to clear anything off your lap and just be open. But I want to, just for those of you that this might be really new to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to open the energy centers in your body, also known as chakras. Some people may not be familiar with that. Most of you probably are. And I'm going to go from the bottom up. So there's a root chakra that connects us to the earth. There's our second chakra, which is about sexuality and creativity. There's our third chakra, which is about our hara in martial arts, or our will and power center. Fourth chakra, which is our heart center, opens to feelings and emotions. I lost count. 5 is the throat chakra, the point of communication and expression. 6th chakra, which is sometimes called the third eye, or point of perception. And the crown chakra is about opening to the cosmos and beyond. So I'm going to lead you through this. Do it in whatever way is comfortable for you. But I'm going to ask you right now if you would clear away anything on your laps and just you can relax, actually. And thank you for turning on the air conditioning. I'm much cooler now. Okay, so if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to go like this so I can see you. Just close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. Another breath at your own pace, just to be comfortable. In and out. And try as much as you can to have an erect, straight spine while still staying relaxed. And please, no talking during this if possible. It helps to put your hands on your lap, palms up. And just take one more breath to get here. So the first thing I like to do is I like to create a sacred space. So we're going to use this time to set the intention of opening to our dreams and getting clarity on what we want to create. I want to call in air and earth and fire and water. I want to call in our angels and guides and ancestors, and you can call in silently by name anyone that will support you in opening to your vision. And now bring one or both hands to the center of your chest to touch your heart lightly. Actually, let's do both hands. Most of you are anyway. Great. So in touching the heart, we activate the heart center. So to the best of your ability, with your feet flat on the ground, breathe in the energy of earth, of mother, of soul, and slowly, even if you need to take more than one breath, breathe it up your legs. Let it activate your chakras, your root, your second, your third, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and out the top of your head. And breathe in and out as is comfortable for you. Let's do that again. Breathing energy from earth up through your feet, up your legs, your lower chakras, into your belly, heart, throat, third eye, and out the top of your head. Beautiful. Keeping your eyes closed, now you're going to open the top of your head, open your crown. Breathe the energy down from above of Father, Spirit, the cosmos. Breathing down from above, opening the top of your head, letting the energy come through your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your creativity center, your root, all the way down to the earth. Do that one more time, breathing in and out as you need, breathing the energy from the cosmos, from spirit, down through the top of your head, breathing. Third eye, throat, heart, hara, creativity, root. Really good. And now, and don't worry about doing it right, see if you can do both at the same time, bringing the energy down from above and up from below, and having these energies meet at your heart center. So breathing in, opening from above and below, breathing it into your heart, breathing in, and breathe it out your heart center. And one more time, energy from above and below, breathing in and breathing out, allowing these two great rivers of life to blend and merge at your heart center. Keeping your hands at the center of your chest, open to the qualities of your heart, open to compassion for yourself and all things, open to unconditional love and the healing presence and innate harmony, the calm within the chaos. How would your life be different if at any moment you could be the calm within the chaos? Now bring to mind or to your heart someone that you love. It could be a person, it could be an animal, and allow your heart to open to more love. Feel your love. It could even be nature, a mountain, your beautiful volcano. Open to your love and allow your heart to expand even more. And if you're able to, imagine, sense, or feel a ball of light at your heart center. Maybe it's the sun or fire, but just try to picture it and feel your hands start to get warm, even if it's just a little. And you're radiating your heart energy into your hands. And without overthinking it, see how your body responds to this phrase. Turn on your love light. Turn on your love light. Fire up that beautiful heart. And pour the energy, pour the light energy back into your hands. We're going to do something a little advanced here, but if my intuition says go for it. So keeping one hand, try to keep your eyes closed if you can, because imagination is a very powerful tool when it comes to creating. So imagine one hand at your heart, slowly start to draw some of the energy from your heart up to your throat. So bring one hand lightly up to the throat, one hand at the heart, one hand at the throat, and breathe. Open to heightened creativity. Open to the ability to induct, inspire, ignite, and initiate your dream, your vision. Open to the ability to destroy, demean, demolish, and diminish that which no longer serves life. Breathing. Keeping one hand at your heart center, bring the other hand from your throat up to your third eye, up to your forehead, and open to your vision, open to your dreams, open to the Akashic records where all of history is written. Open to moving beyond understanding to knowing. And open to your vision. What is that vision that you thought about before we started? And I said, think about something you want to create. Open to this vision for yourself and your life. And see if there's any images, any symbols, any words or feelings. Open to the vision that's in your heart. And if nothing comes, that's perfect too, but open. Keep breathing. And then slowly, keep taking your hand from your forehead, bring it back to your throat. and set the intention for the rest of the time that we're here at Volcano Summit. You are going to make a meaningful connection. Set the intention that you're going to use your voice to express what's in your heart and the vision that's in your mind. And even though you may not know exactly what that is, set the intention that before the summit ends, you will make at least one, preferably many, meaningful connections, and you will use your voice to express what you're creating and the impact that you're wanting to have, or to help another person move forward on their dream. Bring both hands gently to the center of your chest one last time. Breathing. And with holding your own heart, express gratitude. Gratitude to yourself, gratitude to life, gratitude to your loved ones who supported you and maybe made it possible for you to be here. Gratitude to your family and community. Don't forget you. Gratitude to you. Good job for you. Breathing. I'm going to release the sacred circle, send it back to the land of no time and no space. Gratitude to our angels, guides, ancestors, all who came to support this ritual and this awakening. And please hold silence as you lower your hands, gently open your eyes, and take 1 minute to capture, maybe on your phone, maybe on a pad, anything that came through for you. And if nothing else, write down, my intention is to make meaningful connections here at Volcano Summit. So please take 1 minute, and then I'm going to transition into the last two pieces before I wrap up. Holding silence, my intention is, or maybe you saw a symbol or an image, or you had a feeling. Maybe a person popped into your head and you don't even know why. Take a moment to capture that. Another 30 seconds. I want to wrap this piece up by asking you to give yourselves a round of applause for how beautifully you did that. That was amazing. Thank you to you. You held such a beautiful, heightened space. And I'm telling you, when I got the idea to start this modern day mystery school called the Meaning Institute, where I thought, I don't know anything about that, but it came from discernment, clearing away the clutter. It came from taking the time to sit down and to make my dreams and vision a priority. And when it first came through, I didn't even know what it was, and I started researching it, and then I followed it, and I turned it into a project and a practice, and that's what brought it alive. And I will tell you, it generated millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. When I started Dream University, people said to me I would starve. They said, you can't make money teaching people how to make their dreams come true. Guess what? Ha ha, they were wrong. So there'll be naysayers, there will be doubters, there will be people who will tell you that your dream is not a good idea. If you turn the voice of the doubter down, it becomes the realist. And the realist just wants to know, what's the plan? Where are you going to get the time and where are you going to get the money? The challenge is, in the early phases of a dream or on a big dream, you don't have it all figured out. And if you go to being realistic too soon, you're going to compromise the dream down. So it's a practice. One of my favorite stories of philanthropy and ritual is that at my big conference every year that I used to hold, a dear friend of mine, Cynthia Kersey, who started the Unstoppable Foundation, and her dream was that literacy for every child. And we would do fundraising for her at my different events. And the last time we did this, it was all done with ritual. There was no big PowerPoint. There was no big elaborate process. It was just a ritual of people sharing their love and their intention and their vision for creating something. And in 20 minutes, we raised $150,000. And that helped build 6 schools. Her business model was food, water, education, and medicine for a village. And we would come in and we would do that at different villages until they became self-sustaining. Anyway, I love ritual. Ritual could be as simple as lighting a candle and saying a prayer or going to church, but making it meaningful. Okay, so I want to share something with you. So I have 2 stories to wrap up. One is very personal, and I've never told it before, and the other is my favorite story that I want to leave you with. So one of the things that happened when I was home with my dad at the end of his life was I found a novel that I had started writing 20 years ago, literally 2002. And I took it home, and I wasn't ready to read it. And on the year anniversary of my dad's passing, I pulled it out, and I started reading the story. And the story is about a young woman who's just praying for her love. All she wants is her beloved to show up. And one day, he shows up. He kind of knocks on her door. She meets him, and they're joyful. They're together. They recognize each other from past lives, and they make love, and they're together, and she's happy. And on the 3rd night that they're together, they share a dream. And the dream is they're being summoned to a holy place, to a temple. And he's like, we have to go. And she's like, but you just got here. And he said, we have to go. So they make this journey over hill and dale to a far-off exotic land where there's this magnificent temple. And they ask permission to enter. And they go into the center of the temple, into the Holy of Holies, where there's a single candle lit. And a voice, maybe the voice of God, I don't know, this voice says, what is your life in service to? And in unison, they say, our love for each other. Wrong answer. The candle blows out. They're left in pitch black darkness. And they, find their way out. She gets out before him. And, she's, what happened here? It was kind of scary. And she's waiting for him, and he doesn't come. And she's waiting, and she doesn't know what happened. And she's exhausted. She falls asleep. And when she wakes up, the temple is gone. And she thinks she's losing her mind. So she did the only thing she knew to do. She went home, sure that she would find him, but he never came. She waited days, weeks, and months. And then finally, she was grieving his loss, and she started learning lessons about life, lessons about love, lessons about loss, lessons about grief, lessons about dreams and creating. And slowly over time, she starts to talk to people. She shares a little bit with a girlfriend and then a family. And before she knows it, she's being asked to speak to more and more people, larger and larger audiences like this. And she's giving a talk to a room full of people, and a man comes up to her and says, I came here, I didn't know it, but I came here to hear you speak. And they start a friendship, and over time they deepen their friendship, and they fall in love, and they love each other, and they're together, but they both are fully aware that he's not actually her soulmate. They love each other, they're happy, but they both know about this loss. So they're together for a while, and sure, and as you can count on it, one night they get the dream again, and she's terrified. I do not want to go back. I don't care, but she knows she has to. So now, with her new love, they make the journey. They go back to the temple, into the temple. The single candle is there, and the voice says, what is your life in service to? And in unison, they say, awakening humanity. Right answer. All of a sudden, he starts to transform, sort of like a Disney movie, and it reveals that it is her beloved. It is her soulmate who she lost in the temple. And she said, what happened? How is this possible? He said, well, when the temple went black and I tried to get out, I encountered the Dark Lord, Deklar, who was trapped in the Be More door. What an imagination. And because I wouldn't let him out, he put a curse on me. And he made me forget who I was, and he made me unrecognizable. But our love and knowing what our purpose and mission is, and that we're here to do it together, has brought me back to you. And they live happily ever after. Okay, so what does this have to do with you and Volcano Summit? I think my soulmate is in this room. It's a possibility, and I'm a believer. So if you resonate with me and you feel like, wow, you want to know me a little bit better, please have a meaningful connection with me before the end of the conference. And by the way, soulmates come in lots of different forms. Friends, partners, beloveds. So I'm available and I'm looking, and I can't believe I told you that. Ah! You have just made my trip to Guatemala. Wow. Okay, let me close with this last story. I'm right on time. This last story that I do love the story. I was giving a talk in Portland, Oregon, and a young man, very dark-skinned, very tall, tapped me on the shoulder. He said, "Thank you for your talk today. It really touched my heart." I said, "Well, who are you? Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Kenya, Africa, and I'm part of the Maasai warrior tribe." I said, "What are you doing in Portland?" He said, "When I was very young, I became ill. And my mother took me to a nearby clinic, and the doctor healed me. And from that day forward, my dream was to become a doctor. But it was impossible. There was no training available, and you didn't leave the tribe. It just wasn't done. I kept my dream alive. I shared it with people. And around my 18th birthday, a writer came from your country. He was a writer for the Washington Post, big paper, right? He said that's me. He published the story, and a couple of weeks later, I was invited by a couple in Portland who read the story. They invited me to apply, and I was accepted at the University of Portland to become a doctor. I said, "Holy moly, that must have been the happiest day of your life." And he said, "No, it was one of the worst days of my life. Because even though I was being handed this opportunity, my family didn't have the money or resources for me to follow a crazy idea and go to America to become a doctor." He said, "I did the only thing I knew to do. I got down on my hands and knees and I prayed for a miracle. And that's what I got. 4 families stepped up. Each one made a commitment 1 year apiece to basically feed me, house me, buy my books, and love me while I was so far from home." Well, at this point, I'm blubbering, I'm just like, ooh. And he said, "It wasn't until today when I heard you speak so passionately about dreams that I realized what I must do. I must become a doctor, but then I must go home. For I must be an example to my people that no dream is impossible and the extraordinary things that happen when we gather together as a tribe." And for me, it's no different than what we're doing here. We gather with our dreams, our hopes. We look to see how can we make meaningful connections? How can we help each other? And oh my God, I almost forgot. I have an amazing gift for you. So my Dream Mastery program, the 10 videos, that also includes a free ebook copy of my dream book, I want to gift it to you. So take down this URL. It's a $200 at least value. I've never offered this for free before. I want you to have it. Dream Mastery, that's the name of the program, dreammastery.com/volcano. Of course. Please, please, please take advantage of it. There are 10 short videos, these principles and more. Also, there's a handout after the program is over when you get home, 12 ways to be a 21st century visionary. We're going to send that to you. But the course, I think, is really valuable because it really breaks it down into exercises. And what we did today, I call it plugging in to spirit and source. We plug in to open our heart and expand our capacity. If all of life is a creation and you and I are creators, we can access a lot more and get a lot more done. Because I'm going to leave you with this. It's never been, and Jama, this book is for you because we love presents. I'll sign it for you later. Love you so much. Yeah. So it's never been a better or more important time to act on your dreams. I'm going to say it again. It has never been a better or more important time to act on your dreams. There are people that will tell you to be realistic. Say to them, thank you for sharing. Come to conferences like this, and the conference is not over. We're just beginning this second leg. So I'm here, beloved, I'm here. You guys are all here. Let's share our dreams. Let's be generous with our listening and do what we can to be philanthropists, where we generously share what we have to help other people achieve their dreams. God bless you all, and thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.